right, Lena here wanted us to do a background check. We have offered this up to any of you guys, right? You start dating somebody, you're not really sure who they are, what their background is. You have like some kind of red flags maybe going on. We have a guy, or a woman actually, that will go online and do all of the background checks for you. So Lena calls us up and she's just gotten out of a bad relationship and she's starting to date a new guy and she's like, I don't want to go through this whole thing if the dude is got stuff in his past that I don't agree with. So let's do a background check. All right, Lena, what do you got for us?
I recently had coffee with someone named Tom, and we met through a mutual friend. He really seems perfect. He's charming. He's attentive. He's funny. I mean, we spent hours talking, and I felt hope for the first time in a long time.
I wish I knew how that feels.
I was about to ask, do you know where to find it so Abby can get some?
It's our store.
Is that on Amazon? Is that on Prime? Can it be here by Saturday?
Can a drone drop it down before you know
Go ahead, Lena. We're sorry.
Oh, no, you're good. I'm 30. He's 31. He moved here from Portland. And, you know, we talked about what I do. I'm an interior designer. He's a graphic designer. And he was telling me about all the jobs he's had since college and how he ended up in Portland originally. And, you know, he just moved to Atlanta 1 month ago. He's originally from Northern California. So, yeah, I mean, it's been a while since my last relationship, and it was a guy who turned out to be totally different than what he presented at first. So I just have some trust issues, and a new guy feels a little scary. But yeah, so that's all the details. I hear you do background checks.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't mind, I would love that. That's what I'm reaching out for. Is this Tom guy everything he's cracked up to be?
Yeah, so we've already done the background check, so we'll give you the results here in just a couple of minutes. But let's just go through a couple of things here. So this guy hasn't given you any kind of indication that there's anything shady going on in his background. You're just bringing a lot of baggage into this new relationship, honestly, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because literally you've only sat down with him for a couple of hours and had coffee, but you feel his chemistry and you think there might be potential there.
Yeah.
Okay.
What were some of the shady things that you went through before that pushed you to this point where you feel like you're in such a place to have to need this information so fast?
Oh, yeah, girl. What happened?
Well, I mean, I don't want to sit here and drag my last person's name through the mud, but
please do.
No, we're okay with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just wasn't. He had a criminal past, and it wasn't serious, but it was enough that as we were getting more serious with each other, I should have been told about it, and I wasn't.
So basically, if you had known that information, you would have never dated that guy before.
Correct.
I mean, we could call it different things, but I mean, Abby, you can confirm this. Mo, you can probably confirm this also. When you're about to go out with somebody, you do your own background check. You go online, you check out their Insta, right? You check out TikTok or whatever. I mean, we're not going to call it a background check because it's not, you're not paying anything or a professional, but you're doing the same thing, aren't you, essentially?
Yeah, I'm all up in their LinkedIn. I'm on Indeed.com. I'm looking up their salary. I'm looking up where they went to college. I'm probably looking at your Prezi from your sophomore year of high school where you talked about mitochondria being the powerhouse of the cell.
That's not untrue.
There is nothing I don't know about you going into this date. I have seen your parents' house on Zillow, looking at their resale value. I'm preparing for my whole future with you before we even have a drink.
See, so when I first started dating my husband, and we're talking this is 18 years ago, you didn't have access to a lot of that stuff. Yes, the internet was around. It wasn't that long ago. But you always did word of mouth, right? So people, especially if you were in a smaller town, somebody had dated somebody that they knew or whatever. But in this instance, because he moved from Portland and he's just new in town, you don't really have anybody you can bounce off with. Because I will never forget this one girl, Jennifer, I'll never forget her name. We worked together. She knew a girl that had dated my husband, and the only thing she said, hey, I just got to warn you, he's got a really hairy back.
Shut up.
I mean, that's a
Wait, does
Go
he?
looking out.
Oh, yeah. But
that's a reference.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's just call it a reference
Does
right
not
there.
bother me. It makes up for it in other areas.
Hey, yo.
I need to stop drinking
TMI.
caffeine. Oh my God.
Kristen has been on a roll this week. I mean, because she usually drinks decaf. What was the tipping point for you going, you know what? I need caffeine now.
The 3.5-year-old.
Okay. Man, it's like you've taken the Limitless pill. I can't keep up with you.
Need to stop.
So, all right, Lena, we have already done the background check for you. Our studio director, Tommy, will give you all the details in a few minutes.
We have, and there is one thing in the background check results that may have you questioning everything with this guy.
Good tease, Tommy. All right, Lena, hang out for just a couple of minutes and we'll give you the results, okay? So Tommy reached out to her. Lena, you gave us all the info about her, so Tommy now is going to tell you exactly what they found on the background check, okay? You ready?
I am ready. Thank you.
All right, here we go. Tom's name, age, checked out fine. His addresses. There was a previous city he lived in. Lena didn't mention. He had an address a few years ago in Boise, Idaho. He did not mention Boise, correct?
He never mentioned Boise.
Maybe it's a rental property. He never lived there.
Or maybe he's on the run from the cops.
Go either way.
Yep.
Employment history. He's had jobs in Northern California, actually in San Jose, near where he grew up, then in Boise, then Portland, now Atlanta. So we know about Northern California. We know about Portland. We know about Atlanta. He has not mentioned Boise.
Yeah, no, he never mentioned that.
Well, I think we all know the old cliche. Whatever happens in Boise
Stays in Boise.
stays in Boise.
Or he's just embarrassed that he lived in Idaho.
All right.
Does he have an affinity for potatoes?
Let's get to what you're most concerned about. Criminal record, because your last dude had a criminal record. He does have a criminal record.
Okay. Well,
No.
Well, depending on what it is, it could be sexy.
It was only...
What is a sexy crime?
Well,
We talked about this last time. Somebody that was got hauled in because they were protesting something.
yeah, this isn't sexy, but it's nothing too alarming. It's a misdemeanor charge in his early 20s for public intoxication.
All right. Half the country was getting arrested for that.
That's not that bad.
That's not bad at all.
You know, it was a long time ago. I mean,
All right.
I don't even consider that criminal. It's
So did he
fine.
go to school in Idaho? Like, is that where he?
Well, let's go to his social media. So Tom has Facebook and Instagram, and our PI saw plenty of smiling pictures with friends at bars, on trips, family gatherings, all the stuff you normally see on Facebook and Instagram. He seems very well liked, very carefree, adventurous, but he does have some pics from a while ago in Boise with a young woman. And there are quite a few of them. Our PI looked into her. She is still in Boise. Evidently, she grew up there.
So maybe she's why he did mention Boise.
Kind of funny you say that because our PI's deep dive into her. A few months after all the pics with him on her social, she started posting pics of her and a baby.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
You think that's his baby?
Well, we don't know. Our PI, that was their first inclination, but there's no record of him like paying child support or anything like that. So we're not sure. And we couldn't locate like a birth certificate that would list like the father's name. She's still looking for that, but we kind of ran out of time and haven't found out anything there.
Okay, so you have been with this guy, you said, for how long you've been dating him?
They went on one date.
One date. All right, so you wouldn't necessarily reveal
No.
that you've got a kid across the country on the first date, right? So no harm, no foul here yet, right?
I don't think so.
But is that a deal breaker for you, Lena? A dude with a kid?
Well, it's more that he hasn't told me about it. Like,
It's one date.
Yeah.
How long were you guys talking before the date?
for several weeks. I wouldn't expect him to tell me about it before the date, but like a guy who doesn't talk about his kid on a date is like,
Oh, you
Well,
think
it's
that's
like-
I agree with that.
It's like they talked about what they do for a living, and he talked about his whole background and kind of went through the rundown, but he skips over a major part of his life in a city that he didn't mention.
This is an interesting question now, and maybe to Abby and Mo more specifically. Like, we have debated before on the first date, should you reveal that you have a kid? But if you've been talking for 2 months before that, what is the correct amount of time before your kid's name comes up? Is it 8 weeks? Is it 3 weeks? Is it not at all?
I think it's fairly fast. In my experiences, if someone has a child and we've been talking for a few weeks, at some point that's gonna come up.
Yeah,
unless you're
I
trying,
agree.
you got to go out your way to hide it. Like a child is something you should be proud of. You should be wanting to tell me that.
That's the thing for me is like if he does have a child, I would be okay with it if he's like proud of the child.
Yeah.
But when he's like hiding it, that to me is a character thing.
We're also assuming that this is his child,
Right.
Because I live in breakup land. In my mind, I'm like, maybe she cheated on him with another dude, and that's why he had to leave Idaho for good, and that's why he went way across the country because she the hoe in Idaho.
Idaho. She put the hoe in Idaho.
You are on one this week.
Thank you. Thank you.
Seriously, you should retire today. Lena, so I mean, God, this is kind of a double-edged sword here because now you know this is in his past.
Maybe.
So maybe, but I mean, you've got info. So do you bring it up? Do you let it percolate?
She looks psycho if she comes to the next day and was like, I did a deep dive in your socials and saw you hanging out with this girl. And there's a lot of pictures of you guys. And so then I went to her page and I saw shortly after she posted pictures of you, there was her with a baby. So I need to know, why did you never mention Boise, Idaho? And what is that child yours? That sounds insane.
Okay, crazy. She could just ask,
Yeah.
what are your thoughts on kids?
Right, you lead the witness. Yes.
Or have any kids?
Yeah.
Doesn't that normally come up when you're dating somebody for several weeks?
Yes.
Okay, you can do that.
All right, Lena, I would love to follow up with you. You do have plenty of opportunities to lead your witness here into the conversation where he should bring up his kid and Boise.
So I wouldn't ask if it's like, do you want to have kids? Because for a woman to ask that of a man on a second date, that reeks of desperate and I need to procreate. But I do like asking like, so, just getting to know more about you. Do you have any kids? Do you have any hamsters?
Are you married? These like normal questions.
Have you ever visited Boise, Idaho?
When are you supposed to go out with this dude again, Lena?
This weekend.
Okay, cool.
I wouldn't cancel the date. I would still go
hell
out with
no.
them. Yeah.
Now let's check back with you.
I think he's safe. He just might be hiding something.
Yeah. Lead him and then come on back on Monday and tell us exactly what you did and what he said, okay?
Will do.
All right.
Because we need to know.
Yeah, we do. This is more about us now than it is you.
Absolutely.
1,000%.
The Bert Show.